May 14th, 2021. It's 5:30 a.m. and just getting the charts. And yesterday we had not real nice movement, and looks like overnight basically we've reversed almost all of that range. Something I noticed is that we didn't actually take out these lows of this value area, which doesn't mean much, but now we're coming all the way back up, and on the daily we have pushed down to this this really close to this low volume area, which kind of splits these two value areas. So that makes sense, but without a test to that and a flush, we didn't grab that liquidity. So I wouldn't be surprised if we still come down and test this at some point. Well, obviously at some point we will, but now we're pushing back up into this little small trouble area at the 65 round number. As far as the 15 goes, we are opening above range, so above value anyway, in yesterday's range. So we're kind of at an area where I could definitely see that we test these supply areas here, and this is still open as well, but fair amount of buying here in this large demand push here in the overnight area. So where's the opportunity here? Well, we are already at the overnight high right around there, so short-term opportunities to see if we can come back and hold the top side of value and push higher, possibly into yesterday's high, 65.37 there, or are we going to work back into value and then through this range down? Then we'll be looking at the VPOC, lower side of value, and then possibly to take out those lows. And then there is that ability or that possibility for the flush of those major bar lows to flush that liquidity and either move below and hold or move back into the previous value there. But that's a lot of work to do, so we got a lot to get through before that happens. In the short term, this 64 would be my lower side, and then the VPOC from yesterday. But this is a major kind of pivot area here where this demand came from, so be looking to work through that to the short side. First need to get through the upper side of value or to the upside to take out these bar highs. So any trade to the upside, I would be looking for this to take out these bar highs, possibly into this untested bar low, but really into the origin of the demand or the origin of the supply where this move came from at 65.10. So about 50 ticks above, not a real long way, and then we would be back again into this this composite level here of this volume. But this is the major flip zone here, so anywhere in here I'd be looking to target, probably right into that 65.11, these untested bar lows. So I just grabbed along here, and what I'm looking at here is that we have come down and tested this flip zone, this edge of this little balance area here, and definitely have targets above. We're close to the overnight high, and I want this little value area to hold. We had this nice little imbalance push higher, and we will see if we can take out this bar highs into this little supply here. And this is not a very strong high here, so also not on very large volume, so we'll see. Target would be 64.96, these untested bar highs here to the left. What I'm looking for is for us to see if we can push above these highs for some kind of de-risk, and definitely into this supply, because I would expect a reaction there, so I wouldn't want to leave risk on past that, because I would expect a supply reaction there, and then a push back down into trouble here to hold this level to break these tops. Would like to see this volume here hold. You can see on this push in the imbalance bar, the bulk of the volume is here. So we'll see. If we get a push down imbalance, I'm likely to get taken out, and then I would expect it to hold from below and move lower, so I wouldn't want to be below that area. A little push here on this current bar, so that's a good sign. We'll see. And then it slams back down, so that's not great. And that'll do it for me, -6. Now, did I take that off on a reduced risk because I didn't want to see this tested. I mean, it said it could be a little premature on this low is likely to go, but I would rather see this flush these lows here like this is happening right here and then reject. And I did preempt that trade a little bit because we didn't quite get down deep into testing the upper side of this value. So this was definitely a possibility or a likely test. Not a great way for me to start the morning. Hate starting out on a loss, but it's in the past and I'll forget about it quickly. And now I want to see what happens when we test below this again, and then can we reject and move higher, or are we going to move back down into this value here and move lower? Don't know. I'm long again. I'm going to give this another try. We pushed down here in this push down, and now we tested this higher side again and looking to see, yeah, we do have a slight bit of trouble here above. I'll be definitely de-risking into that above the break of this bar highs if it happens, and with my stop below this 50 number. Target is the same, 96. It's a kind of a big target. We'll see what happens when if and when we flush all of this. These bar highs will be the first one, and then this weak low above. I did reduce my stop, and that is below this bar low here, and that's just again because of normally I would wait for this bar high to be broken, but we're trading right into this trouble. So if we can't, it's just plus or minus a tick or two here. So just some back and forth trade, no increase in volume of any kind. This little push down did it on a tiny increase in volume, and I'm above that volume, so that's always good. It's just more of my impatience of this trade, but nothing is happening here. Still need these bar highs to be broken and a push into this trouble to de-risk. This is about the fourth time that we've tried up into this area here. Don't know if it's going to go or if we're just going to chop around, and one side or the other is going to break here soon. That's for sure, and we're right at 6 o'clock now, so that should provide some movement. And it looks like it's going to be to the upside, so that's great for me. I am going to, at the risk of choking this out, go to break even because of that trouble that I talked about before. And that's coming right into this little supply area. With that small little imbalance push, I'm hoping that this mini range here holds from above, and we can come and take out. You can see how weak these bar highs are here. You can really see it on the number bars. This high is super weak as well. I mean, there wasn't an unfair price here at all. So all that is easily taken out. And why is that? Because it's been here multiple times, multiple tests here. Not a sharp rejection, unfair price, which would mean it would come up and slam back down. So this is looking good. Above these bar highs, I'll be looking for liquidity to flush. Why? Because there's resting orders up here. Same as here. We have a little bit of a high tick here, meaning a failure of price with this high, but I'm not worried about that because this high is so weak. As far as trades go, this was definitely on the aggressive side. Like I said, being into this trouble area and testing directly into this little supply. But I was kind of visualizing what my expectation was to happen, and if I didn't have the context for the long side trade that we were at this low volume node or this flip zone here, then I definitely wouldn't be taking this. And I'm out for a break even, unfortunately. So now I'm stuck watching my trade play out and work out like I would have liked to have seen it, breaking these tops. So something I noticed on this little spike down when I got taken out, 2 contracts were traded here at price at my 57, 2 contracts. Now it doesn't mean that I choked this out. Like, I've been talking about that a lot recently, but being that my short-term price structure was below, I think it was pretty valid. Once we had this push bar here, and then testing these highs and not breaking them, could have given it, a little bit more room to work out, but that's hindsight, whatever. on to the next trade. So the question is, what's going on here at this price? Obviously the long side didn't work out. We had this high tick failure above and then a move back down to the low side of balance. Some higher volume coming in here down at the 50, which is to be expected because we're at this kind of this edge of this value, the upper and the lower range here. I don't know, now are we going to move lower back into this previous range, which is totally possible, but we're also testing the edge of the value area high from yesterday. This seems like a very strange place for price to put in this high, other than it's likely to be taken out and tested at the open. I'm not trying to think about it that deeply, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense as to why we would have higher time frame sellers here, other than just we have sellers anywhere in here. But if sellers really wanted, it's like if you want to sell something, you want to sell it higher, get the best price if you want to be short, right? So if you're a higher time frame seller taking out all of these highs, there's likely to be liquidity here. If you're looking for a large move down, flush these highs, take all of this liquidity above here, and then you get a better price and large fills, large size, especially if you're looking to fill large size, and then moving down. Not really anything to do here. We've come down and tested this previous demand here at 42, but the problem is now we've fallen back down into range here, and we're down below this structure. So getting long is difficult because I would expect that the lower side of this structure above would hold now, and until I see this either imbalance above, I wouldn't be looking at anything long. Anything short, I would like to see a test into here and then falling back into this zone with some kind of structure to support that, kind of sitting around this point of control for all of the overnight trades. So you can kind of say this is all just balance as well, and then these small two ranges inside of that balance. Staying open to the long and the short ideas, and this is why, because we have context for both long and short with the flush of those. All of these green lines are these bar highs here, so a lot of liquidity sitting above those areas. But for the short trade as well, we have this space here, all this really thinly traded area on this demand push higher. So if we can work our way down and find a good setup, this has all been tested, this area has been tested, this has been tested. So really this bar low is looking to be flushed to the downside, and then all of this space to be filled in. So a nice target down all the way to the 64 round number. So we have upside targets around the 65, and then low sides at 64. So depending on what price does, I want to be open to both sides of that, but also not just guessing on us and taking a side, because that becomes more of like a coin flip just because I want to put risk on and be in a trade. I'm not going to do that. I don't really feel antsy to do that either. I want the market to show me, and that would be a push above back into here, and then an imbalance above, and then a pullback to go through those tops, or some kind of structure put in here and a failure down to break all of this structure down. Had an order short at 33 here with a stop at 40 above to kind of move down and take out these lows and move lower, and I didn't get it. So to push these lows back down and fill in that space. Had an order here at 33 to go long. How quickly things change, right? This large volume here was put in on this, these tests below these lows, and then an imbalance, and I was trying to get long here at around 33, put it up a little bit above the volume and still didn't get a fill. So I missed my 33 fill here, and we came up, and then that was right before the open, and we had this flush down, and then still like that long context that I've been talking about the whole time, really. and then we just imbalanced higher. And the last real opportunity was at this 48.47 when we held the top of this, but it's kind of a breakout pullback, and then we had already broken these highs, and then I just passed on it. So it's frustrating to see the whole thing play out, and here we are up at 87. So the 47, that would have been another 40 ticks, and my ultimate target really is this 96, and now I got nothing. So it's unfortunate, but so I took an aggressive short here off the highs, some compression volume put in, and now we have a nice little imbalance down. Finally, after missing all of that move up, which I talked about, it seems we've kind of reached an exhaustive move and coming back up into some longer time frame. Now I do have this demand area here, so I wouldn't be surprised if I get taken out. So I'm going to manage it pretty tight here, and I already went to break even. My target is I'm going to just look for the space to be filled in at the round number and see if I can take it off at 01. So that'd be 19 ticks on this trade, and the volume here is now holding, so that's a good sign. And these bar lows have been taken out, and looking to fill this space in from this large volume back down to this low volume node here. We do have this last buyer here to contend with, hoping that they don't come in again, but it's looking good so far. If these bar lows here don't hold from below, I fully expect to get taken out of this trade, and it'll likely be just a break even for me. I want to give it a little room. I don't really have any other place to take profit, because if I take profit anywhere in here, I'll basically just be choking the trade off. So it's either break even or hit my target on this one. We also have this large volume being put in here now, so if we can't get a break and a imbalance push through here, I very much accept and expect to be taken out on this trade. It's looking good. I'm right there. Just need another, came to the almost to the tick. Just need that last little push through, and there we go. There's the take profit. On the sim, this is a little questionable because I'm going to watch this real close, because it hit 01, and now there's that 65. I want to make sure that my price trades through. So definitely looking for a reaction here. So we filled in all the space down to here. I mean, really, it could have said down to 98 on this, but that's why we can look at the number bars and see, probably into the 96 even would have been all right. But I'm fine with taking the 20, and there it is again. That's right back to this. So the edge of the volume would have been 96, so I might have left a little money on the table there. But 01 is still great. That's 19 ticks, and after missing the move up, I feel real good about that, and grabbing one off the top, which is already a little bit nerve-wracking because it could definitely move higher. But what I'm leaning on here is my context here on the higher time frame on the 15. So you remember me talking about these bar lows likely to be hit. It also went through here, but then we also have structure here, these bar lows here, these major bar lows here. So that's what I was kind of leaning on. Not only that, but then we had this large volume put in here, a high here, not able to push higher, and then this compression bar making a new high, and then this imbalance down. So at that point, I took a little bit of an aggressive trade right below the volume to push lower. Had an order here long at 94 above this volume, and I saw this just massive amounts of compression coming in here, and I just got filled. And this could be a false breakout, but I figured I'd give it a try on this imbalance push up, and now we've smacked down back into this volume. So this could get crazy. We'll see what happens. So I just got taken out at 87 for a loss, and so this is what I was worried about on this trade, is that we get this push above, trying to get more longs into here on a false break and then for a push lower. So trying to get on the right side of this volume is not easy. So I mean, I still maybe ride on the trade, but to have my stop down below 82, the stop was just so wide that I didn't really want it to be that big. So it was a little bit of a risk, and it may still work out, but I got taken out. I am long again. I'm going to give it another shot. Pretty risky, aggressive trade here. Leaning on a little bit of volume and a small low tick here, but I like the long context. We had this failure here, this giant volume put in below. So if we can push up above that, I really feel like it makes sense that longs are accumulating here for a push higher. We have all this double top here into this high tick would be a safe target, but I think there's some really nice upside targets on this trade. Here we go, pushing up to the round number. So again, this high tick, we have this high tick here and another high tick here. So another good target here would be this high tick, but longer term context, if we're going to have an expansion move, would be to take out this liquidity here. We have all of this liquidity up here. I mean, that's likely not going to happen late on a Friday. It seems like this is probably going to be just more balance. I don't know there's much volume left to get it done, but at least into this high tick at 12 would be a good target, and that'd give me a real nice win. It's giving us a little more context for all of this absorption and the accumulation that was going on here, likely trapping more shorts in here, so long accumulation here for a move up. See a lot of volume coming in here. I'd be real surprised though if this top didn't go. Just doesn't make sense. It's already been this high was weak here, came up and tested it again here, putting in lots of volume here now. And that top just went, so we pushed above there, and now would like this volume here to hold from above. I'm locking in 10 here just to see if we can stay above this volume and get that push higher. I just survived a pullback to that volume, but not sure it's looking too good with that high again, high tick there. Put in some volume here, so this really needs to hold and go or I'm done for. That's it, taken out 96 plus 10 on the rip down here. So I think that's going to be it for me for today. The volume's drying up. It's Friday anyway, so likely that was just a spike down before a further move up. And it still seems like we're moving higher, but so there's my 12 target hit. Unfortunately, I was taken out to the tick on this retrace back here at 96 to the tick, and I was behind this volume and this bar low here, and so 12 was would have been a great target, so just didn't work out. So man, it happens to me a lot. And now we see this very, very big volume coming in here. Again, being that it's Friday late in the day, I don't know if this high is likely to be taken out, but there's definitely some places to go, some targets up here. This 37 bar high, this 24 has been tested now by the high a day. This has been tested. This has been tested. So all of this really could go. The first untested lows that we have here is way up at 84. I mean, that's definitely not likely, but the 12 would have been a great late Friday trade. So that's it for me. I am going to call it a day, and decent day, plus 17, and mismanaged trade a little bit. I don't know if I would call the last one mismanaged or not, but I've went back and forth on it, and maybe giving it a little bit more room would have been wise, but I wanted to lock something in on it. So looking forward to next week. Going to play cards this weekend a lot, and hopefully try to catch up on a little bit of sleep, but we'll see you Monday.